Hey everyone, it's Mason and you're listening to Herb Rally. Our goal for the show is to help you along your herbalist journey no matter what stage you're at. Are you feeling in love with the plants in the natural world? Fascinated with plant medicine? Do you keep hearing the call to become a healer and a culture shifter? Or to be an even more effective healer than you already are now? Are you open to exploring not only how to understand and utilize herbs, but also diving into more natural, awakened, purposeful, and celebratory ways of being and doing? Welcome to the Plant Healer's Path, an original YouTube series created and produced by Jesse Wolf Hardin, an impactful author, ecosopher, ecological restorationist, personal counsel, graphic artist, musician, and historian on a mission. Today's episode of the Herb Rally podcast is the audio extracted from Wolf's beautifully produced and filmed videos from the popular YouTube series. Be sure to check out the full YouTube playlist for this series, The Plant Healer's Path, by clicking the link at the top of the podcast show notes. This episode is brought to you by Wolf's 14th annual Good Medicine Confluence. This gathering will be held in Durango, Colorado from July 10th to the 13th, 2024. To register and see full details, just head to planthealer.org. Now enjoy today's episode of The Plant Healer's Path, an original YouTube series with Jesse Wolf Hardin. Talk to you soon.
Greetings, friends. You and I might share a love for the idea of adventures, and frankly, a fascination for all those who might venture out of their constricted lives and towards goals and dreams, whether that be in sport or in pleasure, on their vacations or in their missions or careers. We honor people's adventuresome explorations of new concepts and applications. Explorations of novel means and previously untried methods. We sense that the inherent adventurer's risks are well worth the discoveries, well worth the perspectives and the pleasures that are gained. And more than that, we know that the precarious uncertainty, the limitless consequential options, the unexpected happenings and dangers themselves all contribute to the sensation, to the rush, and to the glow. Welcome to another episode of The Plant Healer's Path. If you benefit from or enjoy these episodes, I do hope that you will share the links to them with your friends on social media. Leave a comment if you could be so kind, and of course, push that like button. Now, as adults, ever trying so hard to be responsible, we might dismiss adventure as being something only entitled or specially endowed others might have the privilege of indulging in. We might justify any resistance to adventure that we feel by ticking off to ourselves items like financial limitations or feeling personally ill-equipped. Some might tell themselves that they need to leave it to others to scarily fly beyond the horizons of the known. If so, they will still take vicarious pleasure in the others' retold descriptions, ideally putting to use their newfound insights and their conclusions as best that they can. On the other hand, as children, we're far more likely to refuse to accept that adventure could ever be reserved for anyone else. We didn't believe it entailed any requirements for which we weren't already sufficiently equipped. As kids, we see it not even as an elective or as an option, but rather as a birthright and a necessity, as one of the essential fundamentals of a truly lived life. And thus, the precious kidness, if you will, residing within our hearts and minds, it won't let us rest without our consideration of and our activation of such quests. Whatever one's age, it's never too late for an adventure. Never too late so long as you embark on some right friggin' now. After all, one of the biggest impediments to having adventures is our hesitation, along with the understandable concern about what we might upset or neglect as we turn to follow its siren's call. Obstructing our way to are any onerous obligations, overschedulings, or cases of imagining that we're somehow unworthy of the blessings that come from doing what we have for so very many years wanted to do? What expressions and experiences might you initiate today and undertake over the coming months if you were to decide to not let anything stop you? Think about that. The places you'd get a kick out of visiting. Make a list and then start checking them off. If there's a region you've longed to actually move to, yet you've always found one highly reasonable excuse or another to never act on it, then it's an adventure in the making. An adventure that's actually doing you a favor by not letting you forget about it. If there's a healing technique that you've long thought about without actually trying, now would be the ideal time to try. A book that you've wanted to make an effort to write. A mountain that you've admired forever and yet not yet climbed. A fantastical herb garden to be planted. An endangered species in need of a wild-eyed champion like you. Or a fantastic romance to be chanced. That healing practice or shop or online presence that you've yearned to branch out into. They're called business ventures for a reason. And then, maybe one day, one moment, you find yourself slipping sweetly into an altered state in which the elements of reality appear moving or rearranged. Your conscious being repositioned as if at the opening gates of a new life and a defining revelation. All while standing right where you've so often stood, while still doing what you've so often done. And then you have an all-important revelation, a revelation that your life itself may have all been one big adventure. I mean, seriously. You likely haven't taken the easy way in life, I know that. And you damn sure didn't pick the most profitable or the socially sanctioned of careers. Your relationships may have been deep and yet sometimes painful, and yet be fully significant enough to fill much of your ongoing story. There's been a cost paid for every loyalty that you formed, as well as a cost for every wandering divergence. A cost for going off the map in your personal quest for purpose and fulfillment. While vast crowds around you fell into lockstep in a predictable direction, I'll bet you've taken some turns on your path that no one predicted and that some might have even warned you against. You have at times, if not always, risked loneliness in order to make sure that you were truly, really following your heart. You've been driven by a rare and precious call to service, fueled by what are nearly impossible goals. And daily you've been given to pursuing and creating and living a wondrous dream. The plant healer's calling is by its very nature an adventure. An adventure in that it's a non-typical exploit into the unknown, taking the necessary enterprise, providing the vital enthusiasm, and also made hazardous by its unseen factors and forces, hazardous by its utter unpredictability. Natural healing and adventure of any kind are quite the opposite of standard courses of action. The opposite in that they provide only insights and guides rather than some exacting template that we have to adhere to. They do not promise any stock answers, any ideological security. They don't provide social acceptance or comfort or assurance. Adventure beckons. It inspires obsession and missions, and it compels great, if sometimes less than practical courses of action. An adventure excites, exciting us to continue walking precipitous edges and continue experimenting with new ways and ideas, exploring the as yet unknown, unexperienced, the unapplied. Exciting a life's work that, if nothing else, would still be one hell of a thrill. It's our adventure. It's our imperative. It's our pleasure. Venture and savor. Thank you.